Hi everybody, how are you all doing today? This is BA Bad One, and today I have a video to show you about Harbin, the Pan-Asian cruiser in Tier 7. Like all Pan-Asian cruisers, she is very fragile, having the smallest cruiser HP pool of the tier, and needing to resort to cover to survive. This cover can be obtained by islands or smoke, and both require the aid of your teammates to spot enemies, to target with you small, fast-firing DD guns. Smoke has the benefit over islands of allowing to also being able to send torpedoes and having better firing angles. However, that what you can send, you can also receive, and that is why I usually use the Target Acquisition Systems module to make up for the lack of sonar on these cruisers. That also helps detect any enemy that may come closer than 3 kilometers to you, even if there are obstacles in the way, which is very useful for any build you run in these ships, be it offensive or defensive. These ships are so versatile that you can use any of the Pan-Asian commanders in them, naturally some more effective than others. But I will talk more about the builds through the course of the match. So, we are on a domination match in Greece, and we spawned in the left flank. Usually one could go cap the middle, or at least, contest it, so the enemy doesn't, and give time to our team to capture the flanks. Or you can go to one of the flanks. The one on the right just needs to be defended, and in case you notice a lack of enemies, push to capture the enemy initial base. On the left side one need to push from the start to cap or contest the base there. Or defend it. That is what I am about to do and reward some nice ribbons and XP. Fortunately, the cruiser that was here abandoned the flank. Please don't ever do that. Even if you get overrun, at least try to quiet while you try to defend the base and keep the enemy from getting for as long as you can. That will give time to your team to get the caps on the other side and take the lead on points, proceeding to assist or in the worst case, clean up the remaining enemies. Here you can see the main tactic of Pan-Asian cruisers, which is to get a good position, with some low cover in front of you and use a smoke screen, if you are spotted, and just spam HE shells at your enemies, setting lots of fires, even if you get a lot of shatters, due to the small caliber guns, and you can switch to AP shells for broadside targets, to get some extra damage. Remember though that battleships should be aimed at the superstructure for this. The other tactic is using these cruiser numerous deep water torpedoes, with long ranges, that have the torpedo reload booster at higher levels. These torpedoes do not hit DDs, but are very stealthy and do a lot of damage, so other classes can take devastating amounts of damage from them. Their AA is also quite good and they can shred planes with relative ease. They really are jacks of all trades, and what they give up to balance it out is the sonar and a decent amount of health. You will also need someone to spot for you while you are in smoke. We were unable to prevent the left base from being captured, but our teammates managed to capture the middle one. So, now we must press on take this one from the enemy, and remember, it's always easier to defend a cap than to take it. While we proceed to do it, I will take this opportunity to talk about several builds you can do with the commander we got with the Pan-Asian cruisers, Chen Xiaoquan, which is kind of a triple hybrid commander, having skill from both type of cruiser commanders and a general one, in regards to some skills usually available or DD commanders. Since his base trait is related to being in the smoke, you can use Von Spee and Heihachiro as inspirations, along with fully packed to allow a continuous smoke, similar to what Turwick can do, if you have an ally nearby. You can also make the usual reload, torpedo or concealment focused builds. But be mindful that he does not have fixated, nor punch through, acoustic chamber or steer clear, so some may not be as effective, like range, AP focus or agile. I usually have the reload or the smoke one. In the meantime, one of the enemy DDs show up around these here parts, so she will make our first catch of the day. These numerous smaller caliber guns work very well against them and do a quick work, so it's not a big deal if the deep water torpedoes don't hit them. Just like destroyers, you should be mindful of radar ships, so you can be safer when you use your smoke, as well as longer range sonar ships, aka German ships. Remember basic survivability tactics, like staying close to an island, in case you need to flee and get undetected, and be prepared to receive torpedoes while in smoke. As you know, smokes are torpedo magnets. And speaking of that, I could now mention the Sazembing build, that is basically a DD Hunter build, using Observant Rage and Perceptive, to boost torpedo detection, and know the direction of closest enemy. You can boost the concealment and duration of smokes, as well as the health, and rudder, when detecting an enemy in range. This one uses the same inspirations as the one I am using now, which is basically a mix of smoke concealment and main battery and torpedoes faster reloads. Using the General Commander Ding Wuchang to get a bit of everything. The last commander, Deng Shichang, is good for when you want to boost standard torpedo reload, instead of resorting to the torpedo reload consumable, using the usual perks you would use on a DD. Of course, of all these commanders, the ones for DDs have inspirations that don't exactly match with cruisers, so those are like alternatives of heat alternatives. Anyway, back to the match. We now have 3 caps, same ship count, and points lead, so things are good for us. Most enemy ships are pushing in our right side, and after we finish these loose ships, we can also get there to help out our teammates. As you can see, while using fully packed, I can almost instantly get another smoke to use, so if you get the inspirations for it, you can make continuous smoke screens, like you would if you were to use turrets in one of the British cruisers. I have used that build in a previous Ramat video I post, in case you want to see it put to good use. And like I said before, remember you are not indestructible, so always position in smoke to be angled enough to use the guns, and dodge incoming torpedoes. You can be radared at any given time, especially if an enemy Baltimore is also in range. And so, you should avoid being broadside to you enemies at all times. By the way, you liking this video? If so, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and activate the bell, so you don't miss any new videos. Now back to the frying pan. The Baltimore is tired of this situation, where we are not allowing their team to get this cap, so she makes a bold push. My teammate BB gets taken out, but I have a bunch of torpedoes stored just for Baltimore, so there she goes. Base defended successfully. USN cruisers can have a pretty bad day sometimes, due to the lack of torpedoes. Anyway, it seems the enemy is being able to keep the ship count balanced, so it is a good thing that we got the caps first. In the endgame, that can make the difference between victory or defeat, so always try to work to have points lead. After a while, Mogami also lost her patience and is wanting to also push, like Baltimore did before. Now, at least Mogami has torpedoes, but those Lancer's angles are so bad, She needs to show broadside while moving forward to use them, and like Baltimore 2, she gets taken out, and her launched torpedoes are barely a menace at all. So, this base is finally ours for good. We have a straggler on this side to finish up, so let's see if we can find her. Meanwhile, our teammates on the middle will try to do the same with the other remaining enemy. We have over 300 points difference, and counting, as we have 2 more bases captured than the enemy. In this situation, we do not need to win hard, and if the enemy wants to win, they will have to come to us. One should always win smarter and not harder. Pushing enemies are easier to torps, and shells are easier to hit in them, and I have plenty of both and 1 more smoke and the torpedo reload booster to use, so I am still fully packed for one occasion. My idea here was just to go around the island, so I could get my sights on the enemy and maybe take her out with the help of this teammate close by. In cruiser builds that focus on shooting while smoked, I usually put Belfast, so I can shoot closer without being detected, prioritizing that over normal concealment, as the idea is to fire within the smoke most of the time. Concealment can be important to position, but like I mentioned with the tactics, you should move close to islands, meaning you will have ways to drop spot in case you get detected, and use the smoke if you are in a good position for several shots. Whenever a push is necessary, try to do it as a team. Staying in the back is only useful when several enemies are pushing, because if it is only one, focus the enemy and she will go now. No ship can withstand being focused fire. And please, don't be afraid to get shot. I see so many players just hitting and running instead of helping teammates. It's a shooting game and you are meant to get shot at, otherwise might as well play something else. I don't mean to say to go to open water and get shot by everyone. Of course you need to be careful and try to avoid being shot, but not to the point that you don't help your team and end the match with more than 30% of your health. Remember that if you are not trying to shoot your enemies, or making sure someone does, or trying to get bases, you are doing something wrong. Meanwhile, the other teammate on the other side is preventing the enemy from taking the base by contesting, which is very important, and I see many players disregarding it. Even if you just prevent the enemy from taking a base or prevent them from getting points from a captured base, you are helping your team win. Also defending, I see so many occasions where one shot is all it takes to defend the cap and prevent a base capture, but nobody takes a shot. That's just sad. And don't even ask me about the amount of times players disregard capturing a base at all. Captured bases win games, so do your best to capture them and to prevent the enemy from capturing or accumulating points from them. Well, we are on 4 kills, heading towards the last enemy. Any bets on what will happen? We will try to help out our teammate that has been holding this position for a long time now. And try go get the Kraken Unleashed medal in that process. This is that usual time of the game when I ask the teammates to get back at a certain point, but regardless, they do not help get the medal, and by now I think I have more 4-kill games than Kraken medals, unfortunately. So here we go, we approach the enemy as much as we can, while keeping her spotted for our teammates, while also checking the possibility to send out some torpedoes. Then as soon as we are in detection range, we let hell loose with the guns, torpedoes when they get in range, reload booster to send some more, and of course, the smoke, so we don't get blapped in the meantime. On this occasion, I didn't even have time to request to the teammates to stay back, so I would get the kill. Both the timer and the amount of points were coming closer to the end of the match. In the meantime, I was using the time between shots to send more torpedoes and switch to AP when the enemy turns broadside, all in an effort to try and take her out, and managed to get the Kraken Unleashed medal. And like so, the enemy Keys HP keeps getting chipped away bit by bit. Is it fast enough though? Let's continue. This is the time where Kylo Ren would be ordering several times for more power, after he ordered all weapons to fire on that target. But unfortunately, we do not have enough power to do it. All of a sudden, the match is over, with no Kraken Unleashed, another 4-kill game to the books, but that's it for the match. I hope it was good enough to showcase how to play with this line of cruisers, and that you enjoyed watching it. It's not exactly a high damage or XP number game, but we managed to come out top of the leaderboard and with a decent amount of credits for a non-booster non-premium ship match, as well as almost getting a Kraken. I hope you enjoyed it, and leave a thumbs up if you did. Please leave any comments, questions and feedback in the dedicated area below, and I will answer them all. Thank you for watching, good games and goodbye.
Our team depends upon you.
Much obliged, Commander.
That's how it's done. Nice work. Good game, everyone.
Bye, have a great time.